Hello and welcome to the Dead as Disco preview with none other than Brain Jar Games. We are joined by
Adam Gershwitz, the COO.
And I'm James Karras, the head of development.
Yes, thank you both so much for being here. I learned about this game last year at Gamescom, and I could not get enough. Bloodworth likes to really load the schedules up of trade shows where I'm just like booked full, like nonstop, like back, all these games. All I wanted to do was find little pockets to come to Dead as Disco to try to beat those bosses, because it is absolutely one of those games where it's like, one more try. I could not get enough. So please, for those that don't know what Dead as Disco is, please just tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so Dead as Disco is basically martial arts meets music video, where every punch and kick and combo seamlessly syncs up to the song that's playing. And so it's like you can make your own music video. It's like acting out your own movie scene where the music's playing in the background and everything's synced up to it.
Yeah, it's not just a rhythm game. It's a beat 'em up. It's music videos. We really just think about it as what would happen if you had a TikTok dance video, but it's a video game, right? And
yes.
We can totally recreate that experience.
Yeah, it is crazy how the music and the combat syncs up so well. Obviously, there's a ton of different musical genres that we'll go into in a little bit, but just kind of walk us through how the music and the combat sync up in each of these levels, because it feels like it just like shouldn't happen. I'm like, how am I always on the beat here? How does this work?
Yeah, it's really important to note, as I said before, we're not just a rhythm game. We're a music game, right? So a lot of rhythm games, you're like on the beat, boom, 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 boom. Yeah. But we're about the experience, right? Like music videos are a fever dream. You're in one location, then another, crazy things are happening, and we want each one of our idols. So just to give you a little backstory, right?
Yeah.
So the band Dead as Disco, at its height 10 years ago, their drummer and kind of heart and soul, Charlie Disco, dead.
Oh, shit.
No one knows why.
It's always the drummer.
Right? Always the drummer. Here we are 10 years later. There's a reunion concert festival going on, and Charlie's back. One night only for his revenge, reunion, redemption, you don't know, right? And so the way this all works is Charlie is basically busting into all of his former bandmates' concerts. They're all idols in their own right. They all have their own music genres. They all have their own style. And each one of their levels is like this music video experience, this fever dream experience that culminates in an awesome boss battle, right? And so we design the music first before we even design the level.
That's
right?
what I was going to ask about.
Because you want to build it that way. And then we go back and forth to really tie in the experience.
How is that process working with the musicians and kind of the level and combat designers? Like, what can you tell us more about that kind of collaboration?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of the most fun parts of the job, actually. So on the music side, we work with our internal team that builds a lot of the songs, but we also work with folks outside of our team that are part of the music industry, real musicians to help us make this song, right? We have someone that actually works in K-pop doing the vocals for a K-pop song. We have a guitarist that's currently touring with Baby Metal that's doing a bunch of guitar stuff for us. So it's really, really cool. And there's a lot of back and forth where we set the song first and we start to feel out the level with it. And then we're playing off of that. We find moments in the music that we want to craft really cool parts of the level to. And then as we do that, it's like, oh, can we, push and pull the music a little bit, heighten this moment, make sure this feels good. And we're able to do that. We have a really, a global team. So we all work together, make that happen. It's a really fun process.
Yeah. Is there ever like issues with the music or the combat where it's like, oh, we can't really like change because it'll change kind of the whole vibe of the song? Like, do you get into issues where it's like, all right, the whole vibe of the level is changing and you kind of have to pivot, or like how much leeway is there with kind of the changing of the music?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think as part of what we're building with the music video is it gives us so much freedom to just make an awesome experience that there's not too many times that we feel blocked in or we can't work with that, right? It's more about like, how do we take this cool moment and then visually reflect that in what's going on in the level. And, to your earlier question, part of the way the combat just works is it uses free flow. So When Gersh is talking about, it's not just a rhythm game, you have to press the music. You press whenever, and Charlie Disco makes sure to attack on the beat, right? He makes sure to attack to the music. And that allows us a lot of freedom, not only to do really cool, fun stuff in the levels, but just make the player feel like a badass.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously, if you hit on the beat, crazy stuff happens, right? That's when you get the over-the-top finishers, the over-the-top counters. The score goes absolutely wild. We actually have crowds in a lot of the scenes because these are concerts, and they will react to you doing well, right?
Oh, yes. I definitely, because it is so, pretty challenging, I was definitely just kind of mashing it out at some points because I started to panic. Those ranged enemies I'm trying to dodge away from. You got enemies with shields. You got enemies coming in and swarming you. So I do like that if you keep your composure, you are rewarded for it in the combat. That's really awesome.
Exactly, but at a base level, everyone should feel awesome playing it. So
Yeah.
you can come in our game, you can mash around and still feel really, really good.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the greatest things about the tools and the technology we built is this will work with literally any song. And we give players the tool set with My Music to kind of pull any music in their music library right into the game, sync it up, write it up, and then make whatever they want with it.
How does that work with the combat? Because we were talking about, kind of the back and forth with the musicians.
Yeah.
But if somebody is just putting in their own song, how does that work with just the flow of combat and everything? Really any song will work here?
Yeah, you can do anything. And a goal for us was making sure that someone with no musical background can get a song in and play and feel really good about it. So the two things you need, you just put your song in My Music and you specify the beats per minute, which is really easy to find for any song. So once you have that, the game just knows, okay, here's the beats per minute. We're going to line things up. The combat's going to work because we're going to scale the animations and do everything that we need to do under the hood to make that feel good. And then for people that really want to start customizing it, we have what we call the advanced song editor that you can dive into. You can trim the song. You can change exactly what the beats per minute are at different points. You can put in your own, and it's a tool that we're going to keep building over time. But yeah, you can just drop it in and have it work, or you can start customizing it and doing your own cool things.
Very cool. Can you tell us about kind of the different idols and kind of the structure of a level culminating with a boss fight?
Yeah, so I think one of the ones that we're interested in showing, so a lot of people have seen Hemlock, right? Punk rocker, skull in a jar, giant mohawk.
Yeah.
But one of the idols that I'm most excited about is Aurora, right? Who's our K-pop idol.
Yes.
Once again, voiced by a former K-pop trainee and musician. And her level is that really fever dream, right? So she's all about becoming greater and more, right? So her whole level is this kind of galactic journey, right? You start out in this planetarium, you go out into this new world, you go to the flip side, the dark side, and you end up fighting her literally on the rings of Jupiter.
The rings of
Jupiter. But she is huge, right? And so this music experience is just phenomenal, right? And so when we think about that, we think about what the music is, what the vibe is, what the style of the music is, and what type of experience, right? With Hemlock, you're in a subway, it's kind of neon, it's dark, but he's punk, right? That's just the way that goes. With Aurora, you're in this kind of galactic, over-the-top, glittery, awesome experience. And then with the other idols, we kind of build it to that as well. We have another idol we've talked about, Dex, who's all about the music, right? And getting, the song perfect, correct. And his level is black and white. Why? Cool. Because he is black and white. That's his experience. Yeah. That's metal. That's hard rock, right? And so we really do try to bring out the vibe and the feel of each idol. We want every idol to be like a real musician.
Yeah.
Right?
Do the musicians, or did they get any input on kind of the vibe of the idols, or was that kind of a collaboration?
So we have, and it depends on which idol for the amount of influence there, but absolutely, it's something that we've talked to. In fact, one of the idols that we're not talking about just yet, but is the fourth one that's going to be, we're going to talk about soon, had a lot of input from the person that is doing both the lyrics for the song and the voice for the character, which is really cool. Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of inspiration we take, and we make sure to talk with what kind of things work for the musicians and feeding that into the idols because they are musicians.
Yeah, and I think we could tease that a little bit, right? The reason why we work with the musicians so much is that's hip hop, right? Mm-hmm. And hip hop is so based on the lyrics and the tempo and the way the artist performs that we have to build the song to the artist, right? We have to make that in order for it to be real, it has to be them, right? And so that's really important. But yeah, little teaser, more to come, right?
Love this. Love this. How many songs are we starting here with early access?
A lot. So the last time we did a count, somewhere around 30, maybe more actually. One of the things that's great about the game is it's so easy to make music. Anything we can think about and anything we want, we can get in, right? Yeah. And we can get it in quick, and we can see it, we can play it, and sometimes we just make variations. Like Maniac, for example, the first song we licensed.
Such a good song for this game.
For covers, yeah. But we have a punk rock version, we have an 8-bit version, we got the original version. So like,
version of Maniac?
An 8-bit version of Maniac, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, 30 songs and then 4 full story levels, and then obviously with my music, then people can just play it forever and ever.
Unlimited, yeah.
And one of the great things about the songs is we kind of have this A side, B side experience, right? On the A side of our original soundtrack. It's all the stuff that we've made with real musicians, all these banger covers, fully streamer safe, right? So like one of the biggest problems about rhythm in music games is people love to play it. It's great on TikTok, like that's where we blew up, but it's a harder thing to stream, right? And so that experience, you can just click a button and good to go.
Yeah, streamer safe mode, easy right from the beginning.
Yeah.
So.
How much will that change the music?
So essentially, it will remove some of the songs, but like for example, Maniac being in Hemlock's level, we have our own internal track that we've built for that level, so you can play through the whole level to Authority, I believe is the name of the song, which honestly is a really cool song too.
I bet, yeah.
So that's basically it. Is we just make sure anything that's in a story level, there's a replacement track for it, and then in Infinite Disco, where you can play whatever you want, those songs just aren't available, and then you can always go in and turn off streamer safe mode if you want to play on your own and play those songs.
Yeah.
And then flip side of it, we do license music as well, right? So you can have that kind of more traditional Guitar Hero, Dance Central type of experience where you can go in, you can pick your favorite song, and you can compete on leaderboards or time trials or like challenges too. We make a bunch of custom challenges for each of the songs to kind of obviously challenge players to, do different things.
Yeah. There's been a beat 'em up renaissance, we like to say around here, in the last like 5 or 6 years. What was kind of the origin of Dead as Disco? Like, what was the idea to combine a beat 'em up and a rhythm game? Like, when did this exactly start and happen?
Yeah.
What was the moment?
No, there's like a whole origin story to it and everything.
We want it. We want that.
I would say our CEO, Will Cook, got together with some of the other folks at the company, the early founders, and we're just sort of thinking about ideas. What can make a really cool game? And what really resonated was like truly those awesome movie scenes where stuff is synced to the music. Baby Driver was a big inspiration for us.
Yes.
And so we looked at Baby Driver, and it was like this initial pitch of like, Bruce Lee brawling to the beat on TikTok. What if you had John Wick meets Baby Driver, right? That sort of like music video. And then it was instantly like, okay, well, we got to do something that's tied to the music in this awesome way. And this style of combat just lent itself to, you press the button and the character decides what they're going to do and what's cool. We could sync that to music so like cleanly and elegantly. We put together a prototype of it. It's super fun, and then we built from there. Yeah. So
the free flow combat systems have a natural rhythm to it. Like everything kind of happens on that tempo and beat.
When I first played Batman, it was like, this is like a rhythm. I'm just got to follow this rhythm. Yeah.
And we said like, why is nobody doing this? This is an amazing experience, right?
Yes.
Like we're inspired by like these games. And no one's done it. Like, we want this. Like, that's what we are as a studio. We make games that people feel compelled to share, right? We make games that bring joy and smiles. And that's what we want to do. And we had that secret sauce with this game.
Yeah. When I was playing this game at Gamescom and then just here at the studio, grinning, just smile on my face. It really is one of those just, you cannot stop playing this game. It is so addicting. Just like... like trying to get the high score, trying to finish a level, and trying to get the high score, but just like to feel the rhythm and everything. It's just like so rewarding. It feels so good landing those hits on the beat. Like you were saying, like how is no one doing this?
Yeah.
How is no one doing this?
I
it's so
love
good.
hearing that because like when you talk about what we wanted to build from the beginning, we talk about the lizard brain, right? Like hitting the
Sure.
lizard brain, right?
Hit that
Like
dopamine.
we're not out there we're trying to build like the most, cerebral experience ever. And those are cool things. But like our goal was just like fun, right?
It's
Like
so
you
fun.
play it and just moment to moment, fun. And truly, it's my favorite game that I've ever worked on. Honest to goodness.
So awesome. It just feels good immediately too. That's so hard for a game, I feel like, where it's just like from moment one, the immediate 1 second, you're like, yep, this is fun. This is so fun.
I'd say it's intentional, but we also somehow stumbled back into. I'm old and gray, right? We've been doing this a while, so I remember when we were working at EA and Rock Band came out, and every break room had plastic, right, and plastic guitars, everything, and you would it was a long day. You'd sit down, you crack a soda, beer, whatever, and you pick up the guitar and you just be like, and you feel good, you feel good, right? And we've managed to recreate that. But in a brawler, right? In a beat 'em up. So, which is even good because then you could be chill or you can get a little bit of that anxiety, energy out and just smash face, right? So,
what are some of your guys' favorite beat 'em ups?
Oh, that's a good question. I can answer that question for a while. I'm going to go,
Same.
so old school, Streets of Rage.
There it
Streets of
is.
Rage 2 in particular.
There it is.
Actually one of my favorites, which we
There
can go
it
into a
is.
whole aside about the music in that game, which is also phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Streets of Rage. Then obviously the Batman games, I really enjoyed those, really enjoyed the Spider-Man games.
Yeah.
So those are super fun. And then honestly, I'll give a quick shout out, like the Scott Pilgrim
Yes.
games. I've enjoyed very much. They give that retro feel. I love Anna Monoguchi, who does the music for them. So,
yeah, for me, I go back to Japanese beat 'em ups. So Devil May Cry,
Of course.
and Bayonetta.
Yeah.
Oh, Bayonetta. Why didn't I?
Devil May Cry is actually a huge inspiration for us. Like when you look at the art style and everything,
Definitely.
we want that kind of over vibrant feel, like
Yeah.
just that super stylish feel, right?
Totally.
And Devil May Cry was always
Keeping
one of those
score.
games I could just play forever because the score's going up,
Yeah.
crazy things are happening. Like I don't even know if I'm playing well. I'm just
right.
I'm feeling the groove, right? I love what I'm doing.
I love that. I got a little Sifu vibes in here a little
Yeah.
bit too.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
For
absolutely.
sure. How is it working on just an indie game with all these, big musicians and all that versus the AAA space?
Yeah, it's a great question. I really enjoy working more in the indie space, especially at the size we are, right? Which
Yeah.
is, not a tiny team, but not a big team. And I really find that that's what excites me the most about working in games is because it allows us the ability to do something different. It allows us to experiment a little and to find something like Dead as Disco, which I don't know would have found itself elsewhere. And so to me, it's truly a blessing, which is this idea that I get to work on something like this with a talented team and have the ability to like shape it and then play it and be like, I found a thing. Literally, when you were playing earlier, I was like, oh, there's a bug, and I can go take charge and go fix that, tweak the game based on that. So anyway, it's awesome. It's awesome, and I think that's where we'll see a lot of success in games is from stuff like that.
I mean, the other thing that's great about it is we can work with our friends, right? And we are a global company, as James said. We work out of bedrooms, offices, wherever. Sometimes I work on the patio, but we're global too, right? So we've worked with a ton of different people across the globe, and this has given an opportunity not to use, say, outsourcers and vendors, which we do, but like the individuals we've worked with in the Ukraine, Saudi Arabia, Poland, France, UK. I'm missing like 5 other countries, right?
Ecuador,
yeah. And we can just bring all those people together. Like the sun literally never sets on the studio. We find one issue, and then like somebody comes in when somebody goes to sleep and fixes it, right?
That's
and
awesome.
I think the last piece that's amazing is we can take risks that you could never do in a AAA space, right? This is not a game that maybe would have been made that way, but even more importantly, no one would have let us launch the demo the way we did, right? And honestly, that was just to prove that our core gameplay worked, and it just blew up. And you would never be able to do that in big AAA space, right? And so that was amazing experience for us, and a scary roller coaster too, because now we have to live up to it. But it was great.
Well, and to jump in real quick, not to belabor it, but like player feedback is super important to us. We've got a big Discord group, and that's one nice thing is that we have the ability to like throw stuff over to them and just have them play it even in an early state, get feedback on it, refine. So I want to give a shout out to our community because they've really helped us refine the game, great feedback, and we continue to like interface with them.
And that's the whole reason we're going to early access, right? We put out that demo as a test. We hoped it would do well. We didn't know it was going to do over like 1 million players. And so now we've got to deliver, and everybody's like, just give us more disco. You're like, are you sure? We'd like to finish the game. They're like, just give it to us now.
Give us just another level.
Well, yeah. So that's the whole premise. That's the whole reason we're going to early access is we can continue to build the game with our community and continue to kind of drive those joyful moments.
Oh, we love that. We love that. This is a music game. This is a rhythm game. What are some of your favorite musicians? Gotta ask you guys that. Yeah.
Oh man, that's a big question, and I'm sure people get in the comments about this. So I'll give the softball response, which is like I love all music, which is pretty true. But let's give some specifics. When I was driving up here, I was listening to Dance Gavin Dance, so that was on what I was listening to on the way up here. And this wasn't the question, but my first cassette. Yeah, I'm that old.
Yes.
Was the Top Gun soundtrack.
No way.
And so Highway to the Danger Zone will forever be one of my favorite songs, Kenny Loggins. But I love everything there, right? Miami Sound Machine, Cheap Trick. I didn't like Loverboy as a kid, but whatever.
Somebody had a BMG music right there.
Do you think we can get Danger Zone in Dead as Disco?
We're trying. like that's one of the great things. The vibe of the game has a little bit of that 70s, 80s retro feel. So yeah, Maniac. But if you watch the trailer, we have Final Countdown.
Yeah.
We have I Need a Hero. We've got the craziest punk K-pop duet of Send Me an Angel you've ever seen in your entire life. And so we can kind of pull from that, nostalgia era and do new versions, right? And that's actually one of the things I really like because I'm a little bit more old school. I love me some classic rock. Yes, I'm a metalhead as well. But at the same time, my favorite game, not my favorite game, but my favorite song to play testing the game is reggae actually.
Sick.
Sean Paul Temperature, right? Yeah. That song just beats, and it's the best thing. Like if I gotta log in and play something and test it, it's like the rhythm. Like I can totally just vibe out on it.
I love that. Can we talk about the licensing of music? Music in games. We were talking about the streamer safe mode.
Yep.
We live in a streaming age. Music is such a big part of our everyday lives, just Spotify and streaming, of course. Can we talk about the licensing and just that whole process?
Sure. I mean, it's been a journey, right? Yeah. Licensing music is tough, but I think one of the great things for us is you start out small, but once you kind of get in there and people see and can get hands-on with the game, like that demo really helped us a lot. And so what's really important to us with our base game is that we have perpetual rights to the music. So we don't want somebody to buy our game and then 2 years later lose the songs that they love. That makes things harder. So that's one of the reasons we go with what we call composition licensing. So that's making covers of great songs because we can get that perpetual rights, we can customize it to the game, etc. But we also do master and sync, which is your more traditional, I just get a song off a shelf and use it. But for the game, because we're so like musician friendly, and we're an independent studio, we've been going for independent artists and mid-tier artists and internet famous artists. And we're even trying to do things like building a battle of the bands with our community and trying to bring them in. Hopefully by the time this airs, that's happening. If not, coming soon, I promise.
Yes.
But that's the type of experience we want to have because those are the artists that feel like they can work with us the best and they can break with us. And then obviously, we're going after some bigger stuff too. That might be a little bit trickier, maybe time sensitive. We may have to do events, DLC, and things like that in the future. But right now, we're really focused on that core game and we have a 30-song library. It's going to get a heck of a lot built before launch.
I bet.
We're just kind of working on building that out.
That's awesome. You mentioned the demo is out now.
Yep.
On Steam, you can download that demo for Dead as Disco. You can jump in and just play if you're getting hyped on watching this. And then can you just tell us about kind of the early access release date and what to expect from that?
Yeah, so right now we're going to be releasing in May. People will say, when in May? And I go, as soon as I can. But the reality is, we're still putting the final touches on it. We're going to be playtesting the heck out of the game in April. So get into the demo. There's a little button that says join our playtest, sign up. We're going to try and get as many people in as we can. And when we get a great signal, that's when we go. But we're definitely putting it out in May. Beyond that, the demo, which you mentioned, is a fully updated demo. We didn't add a lot of new content, but it's all the new combat, it's all the new flashy art, and it's 11 languages now.
Wow. That's awesome. Even the music is...
No, the music is still the music.
Okay.
Text translation.
Yeah. But basically, what we had found is there's such a big global audience that's been playing this game.
Yeah.
Like Kazakhstan. Like, we got a ton of players in Kazakhstan.
Wow.
So we took our largest regions and we said, you know what? We're going to get it localized, at least the menus and the basic performance and everything else, so they can bring their own music in, right? And they can play theirs. And I think the hope and dream is when we launch, we don't just have our music and the things that we're used to, but like the fans have told us what they want. And we bring in music from Brazil, music from Japan, music from Germany, Poland, Canada, right? Like anywhere we can go, that's what we want to do.
Yeah, there'll also be 4 complete levels. So there's a level with the bosses.
Yep.
So people that have been playing the demo, they've got Hemlock's level, haven't even fought Hemlock as a boss yet.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more on that front.
Yeah, the demo won't have 4
demo.
levels. The early access launch
the early
will
access,
have, will
thank
have
you.
4. And a ton of other features too,
Including
right?
the skills for each time you defeat an idol, you get one of their abilities. You can then use the abilities during combat and level up through a skill tree. So
Can
it's pretty
you
exciting.
tell us about one of the abilities?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
we talked about Aurora, who
Yeah.
is our K-pop idol.
Yeah.
And she has that intergalactic theme. She actually has a black hole at the beginning of one of her levels. So the ability you get is called Singularity, and it allows you to put a black hole out on the battlefield that will suck enemies in, which then you can combo with
Sick.
other abilities. It's pretty fun, and you can power it up. So at first it's like a little black hole that sucks enemies in, but then the final form is a big one that'll do damage. It knocks them up. It's awesome. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
And can I can't help myself when we talk about Singularity. We can't not talk about Bass Invader.
Yeah, Bass Invader.
So Hemlock, once again, that giant bass guitar axe thing that he's got. So beat him and Charlie can whip that out, right? And the Bass Invader is all about area attacks and big slams and stuff like that. So this is where the different idol abilities can kind of combine and do cool things. You can use Singularity, group things up, and then just whip out that giant, just drop the hammer on him.
That's
And
how I'm playing.
It's such a great experience, right? And each one, and as we said before, each idol is going to have their own vibe and feel, right? Charlie's got a really expressive core kit, but then, each idol will be able to have a handful of abilities and modifiers and things like that that'll kind of add to the overall experience.
Yeah. And then in addition to story mode, are you allowed to talk about any kind of other modes? Like, is there an infinite mode or anything?
Yeah, so even in the demo right now, there's Infinite Disco, where you can kind of go in and free play songs. So one of the additions that's coming is the idea of challenges. So you can play any song, just kind of vibe and do what you want there, or you can go and do some authored challenges that are meant to give you a little bit of a different way to play the game or a bigger challenge. I will say internally, we just played one that was fighting 2 Hemlock bosses at the same time, and it's my current obsession.
Double trouble, right?
How does that like change the music at all? Like, are there
It just
two?
it works with the music, and so it is a challenge. It is probably the hardest thing right now, but we'll keep
so
building.
cool.
But it's fun. It's fun.
Awesome, guys. Is there anything else you want to say about Dead as Disco?
We appreciate everyone that's played the demo. We appreciate anyone that's gonna play the demo. We just love this game, and so please give us a shot. Check it out.
Yeah.
'Cause I think you'll have a really good time. We made it to have fun.
Yeah, we made it to have fun, and we made it to share, right? And so we want to see what people do with it. We actually didn't even talk about all the modding and everything else that went in.
Tell us about it.
In a flash, right?
Yeah.
So not only can you bring in your own music with my music, and you can get it in there real quick and just be like, I know the tempo. You can mod it out, right? You can fully adjust how the music works if you get into it. But also, we're going to be unlocking slowly over early access all of the tools that we use to build the level. Our dream is players will be able to take our tool set and make their own music matched video, right? James and I were talking before. The mod community is already huge on it. Somebody went and modded Shrek into the game with Shrek's level.
Always the first mod.
Was busting face to Smash Mouth, right? And got 5 million views. 5 million views on TikTok, right? It's just bonkers, right? And so we're building out all of that experience. We're giving people tons of levels to choose from. We're doing some Rockstar fashion stuff. We're going to integrate mods. We're going to continue to enhance our tools, but it's going to be really exciting just to see what people make.
Oh my gosh. Because, I feel like the community is always like, they do things you don't even dream of. It's like, they did what?
Yeah.
They did what with the game?
I mean, that's really the secret sauce with this game. Like, I kid you not, what, 300 million TikTok hashtag views or something like that? And it's not our channel. It's you guys, right? And it's super exciting and it's super invigorating and it just makes us want to build more.
That's so awesome. Yeah, I can just speak to my enthusiasm playing it and then being at Gamescom, just your guys' booth. I just will never forget, like, everyone just couldn't get enough. Like, I remember people coming back multiple times. I feel like you might have been there. You're like, yeah, this guy's come back like 4 times here.
We had that exact conversation.
Like,
exactly.
Yes, I remember.
We had a parent that just parked. The kid was so into it. I was basically babysitting the kid for a few hours.
We will not name news outlets, but we had a number of people that just came by and they're like, "Hey, you want to talk about the game?" Nope, played it.
Yeah.
Like, what are you here? I played it. I want to fight Hemlock, and they sat there for 45 minutes, and we're like, "Cool, you have any questions?" Nope. Rolled off. They're like, "I did my thing. I'm super happy. I'm super fun, and we love it."
I love this. Thank you so much for joining us. That is Dead as Disco, launching in early access in May. But if you want to get a taste right now, download that Steam demo. Give it a go. You will be addicted. Thanks so much. Love and respect.